Good morning. I was going to do a post today, or I am going to do a post on the third step in Alcoholics Anonymous because it's huge as far as. And I got a message from my aunt on my last Facebook post, so hopefully I can answer a little bit of, because she mentioned about dying to self somehow sounds like admonishment. And I want to kind of clear that up as much as I can. This is my mom's gravesite. And I was going to do a post on the third step, turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. And then I come out here and I forgot that she had the serenity prayer right here. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So my let's see. Let me get here. Get comfortable. I was thinking about the struggle that we have is because we come in and I am my own, right? And then dying to self is basically just coming to that place of saying, I am no longer my own, I'm yours. I was created in your image and I'm surrendering my will and my life over to the care of God. That's what it is. At the root of it, that's where the freedom comes from. And a lot of people can hear the gospel message. They can hear the beauty of what Christ did on the cross. They can experience some of God's grace and the beauty of relationship somewhat with Him. But if they're holding back their will and their life, they're missing out on the fullness of relationship with God. But that's the beauty of it, is we have free will to either choose to be surrendering my will and my life over the care of God or not. And what I teach out of is a life that is fully submitted to God. And we can either do that or not. It's not an admonishment of dying to self. I'm just saying that that's where we experience freedom. Dying to self or submitting our life to God is the same thing. You know what I mean? Because at the root of all sin is self-centeredness. At the root of all sin is self. And that's how we come into the world. We come in self-centered and self-seeking because of the fall. And then we live our lives from that place. So not only that, but we come into the world needing love and acceptance. So now everything is rooted in self. But in submitting your life to God, back to the care of God, it's just that surrendering of your will, submitting your will back to God. And then the prayer is, thy will be done, not my will be done. But so many of my prayers early on were so still rooted in self. Even what is taught in a lot of American churches is self-centered by nature. You know, that I am going to ask Jesus into my heart so that I can go to heaven someday, rather than, submitting our life to God, laying down of the self-life. For I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Then what happens is it's no longer about my life. It's about Him living through me. Then I get to become love. Now everything I do is a place of being free from the bondage of self, because we come in that way. And then we experience freedom, and we have peace, and we have joy, and we have contentment that isn't coming from trying to do in order to receive. It's just surrendering your self-will back to God, and then we're being transformed more and more into His image. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a free place to be. And that's kind of the message that I'm coming from. It's not an admonishment at all. Dying, that's what Jesus teaches. The one who tries to hold on to his life will lose it, but the one who lays down his life for my sake and the gospel will find it. Deny yourself, pick up your cross and follow me. And He's trying to teach us how to become free, because bondage to self is the worst bondage out there, because it's the root of all sin. It's the root of every struggle we have. Anxiety, fear, all those things come from self. But in laying down the lenses that you look through as you lay down your self-life, you truly do become free. Then you're able to love unconditionally rather than conditionally. It's amazing what happens in a submitted life. So AA has it right in that, as far as, in that place of, but even in AA, A lot of people, they submit alcohol to the care of God, but they don't really submit their full life over to the care of God. They don't submit their will, and that's why we still struggle. But we can find freedom in submission of our will and our lives over to the care of God. It's a beautiful place to be. God bless y'all. I miss you, Mama.